I said this once before, maybe twice, but I'm going to say it again. Regarding the Strait of Hormuz, don't be surprised if the US backs off, lets the Islamic Republic and Oman make a deal about this, forcing the Persian Gulf Arab countries to get off their butt and do something because they're going to get pressured economically. Um, Another thing is, Armin, we've talked about this before. Armin, what was the reason the British Empire rose to power? What was its asset that kept it and made it the biggest empire in the
Na-
world?
Navy. It's Navy.
And what did that navy do that allowed it to reach that position?
It destroyed its enemies and it conquered the world.
Yeah, and it
Well, I
also
mean,
controlled trade, right?
oh yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. So that's actually not too different from what's happening today with the United States of America, is it?
Well, no, the difference is that the United States does it by consent. Okay, so the difference is that the British Empire was an empire. The United States is anti-imperial and a nation state. So the British Navy, the British basically army would show up, and they would say, "You just submit to us because look at us, and then look at you, and then we're going to force this upon you." I mean, to be fair, that's how empires have been working for the past 10,000 years. The British didn't do like, it was the British was the most benevolent empire in the history of mankind, but still an empire. Um, but the United States is not an empire. The United States shows up with its military, and instead of saying like, "We're going to force this upon you," they're like, "Hey, do you want some? Do you want us to secure the area for you guys here because you guys suck at it, and we can secure it for you, and in exchange of, and you could trade with us." So the United States will give you. The United States uses its economy, its culture, and its military to give you a deal that you cannot refuse. Right, so it forces you by offering you a very good deal, right? So the British Empire basically used coercion, just like all empires did, but the United States just gives you such a good deal that you can't refuse, but it's by consent.
You know, in
Yeah, no, the
1990,
British. So somebody saying the British benevolence? Oh yeah, 100%. You are the British Empire. You're comparing the British Empire compared to modern nation states, and if you compare them to modern nation states, they don't look that good. But if you compare the British Empire compared to every single other empire that came before them, then yes, benevolent, very much so.
yeah, and you know, in 1944, something happened in a town called Bretton Woods in New Hampshire. The United States of America invited the different countries of the world to Bretton Woods in New Hampshire in 1944, and it told them, listen, if you want to conduct trade with each other, I'll provide you safety. I'll send my warships, they'll make the area safe. Let's say, for example, Morocco and England wanted to conduct some sort of shipping trade. I'll do it. I'll provide safety for it out of the goodness of my heart. But not really, right? So fast forward today, what happens is if Qatar and China want to sell, if Qatar sells oil to China, the United States has provided safety for that to happen. Qatar and China don't send their warships to like escort these ships from each other. In fact, Qatar doesn't even have a navy that is capable of doing so. Most countries in the world don't. The United States does all of this. This is a humongous amount of leverage, isn't it? You can do whatever you want with that. You can say I don't want to give some protection to certain areas, maybe it's unsafe to do so, like the Persian Gulf. You could say that. You have so much power and leverage to do so, although in some areas like the Persian Gulf it also hurts you the most not to do this. So what's happened? In my opinion, let's see what you think. The Strait of Hormuz has lost a lot of its value, in my opinion. Not all, but some. And that value, where it used to be safe and now it's unsafe, that's the value of it. You can see a move being played in that area, is my understanding. Um, Not permanently, just a short term plan. What do you think? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, 100% some of its value, but this is just the beginning. I think it has lost some of its value short term, and because of the risk now associated with the Strait of Hormuz, it's going to lose a lot of its value long term because everybody is now planning to build ways around the Strait of Hormuz. Like there's going to be so much investments for the next couple of decades to try to make the Strait of Hormuz as irrelevant as possible. So whatever value that the Strait of Hormuz has lost is only now the beginning of that. And going forward, the risk associated with the Strait of Hormuz means that people need to find ways to rely on other ways to get energy, either out
Correct.
of the Persian Gulf or completely from somewhere else. Like US oil, for example, looks so good. It's not as sweet, but it's also not as risky.
Correct. So while it's going to take time for these countries to find workarounds and more pipelines to get around it, you're right, this is the strongest position the Strait of Hormuz is in. This is the most value it has. That's why the US is holding on to it. What if it loses a lot of its value? What if some of these pipelines do start coming online? What if, as the ships getting smaller and smaller, they get faster, they don't get hit by drones, all these things happen, then it wouldn't really make that much sense for us to spend so much time and effort to hold on to it. Um, is my understanding. Plus, having the Islamic Republic exact tolls opens up a new precedent, a new dangerous precedent in the future. All in all, I don't think the world is going to be the same after what happens in the Middle East here. I think it'll be completely different in the terms of how we've known things. I think Qatar will be one of the biggest losers of this war in the Middle East.
Depends. I think if the Islamic Republic falls, everybody is going to be the winner of what happened when the Islamic Republic falls. Maybe not the Qatari leaders, but the Qatari people, include all people are going to be, except terrorists and terrorist sympathizers and people who make money off of terrorists.
And
Other
people
than
who shock
that,
dogs.
and people who shock dogs, leftists. So basically the same thing. Ali, why are you repeating yourself? I already said people who benefit from terrorists, right?
True.
So, so, so yeah, same thing. Yeah. So other than terrorists and people who benefit from terrorists, everybody would be better off if once the Islamic Republic falls and Pahlavi returns to Iran.
Absolutely. Oh man, this is gonna be a great shakeup. If you guys think about it, one of the reasons why Donald Trump is so angry at the rest of the world is because, for example, as I said, Qatar sells oil to China. The United States has facilitated the safety for that trade to happen. The United States pays most of the budget of NATO. The United States provides security even on land for most countries, etc., etc., etc. This is something that's not going to continue. By the end of Trump's term, I don't see this being the policy of the United States any longer. We have 2 years to go. In just the last 7 months, we've had a huge shift, aren't we? The world has changed a lot in the past, I would just say 6 months from the start of Operation Epic Fury. The world has changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yes.
A lot can be done in two
One
years.
thing, yes. One thing that hasn't changed and will not change is the Israeli people and the Iranian people's resolve and determination to get rid of the Islamic Republic. That will stay the same. And many Americans, not all, well, I mean, not as many as, as high of a percentage as we see in Israel and we see in Iran, but still we see them. It might not be the majority, but especially American patriots, many Americans as well.
And the world turns on money. Money is going to be shifting wealth is going to be shifting massively, and it's going to be going, in my opinion, from the Persian Gulf Arab countries to a lot of other countries, namely a free Iran and even potentially the Caucasus or even the Stan countries like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and etc. Those are largely unexplored markets with very rich natural resources, and they're going to be hotly contested if a potential world war is to occur. And Iran will be a key player, whether it wants to or not, just like it was in World War II, and just like how it's been for the past 50 years. We do not have a choice because while our geographic location gives us advantages, it also gives us massive disadvantages of being forced to be around major conflicts forever. There's nothing new. We've been around major conflicts for like 2,000 years. I don't think it's ever going to change either, just historically speaking. That was my theory of the day regarding the Strait of Hormuz and the shipping order of the world. And frankly, it worries me because if that's the case, this is going to drag on for quite a bit.
Remember, I told you it's a possibility that this is like another kind of like Russia Ukraine situation. You know, many people didn't expect it. It could be like that. You know, many people when Russia tried to invade Ukraine, I mean, did invade Ukraine. People didn't know that today we will still be talking about that, right? So I told everybody to consider the option that 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, we're still talking about this conflict. You have to, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's what's going to happen for sure, but I'm just saying you have to be ready for that.
Yeah. So while I do see that comparison between
Wait,
Russia and
somebody.
Ukraine,
So Wes, we will talk to the chat. Wes is saying these guys don't talk to the
we
chat
will,
though.
we will.
We have a segment for that. We will get to the super chats. Yeah.
Yeah. So while I do think that's possible, the thing that Russia and Ukraine didn't have is a massive population that is seizing any chance to overthrow that government, and that is a wild card. It is absolutely a wild card in terms of no AI can predict when the Iranian people are going to come out. They can't predict the day, they can't predict the week, they can't predict the month. They can predict that it is probable, they just don't know when. And that's something that these systems, these computer systems, just they'll never be able to get right. It doesn't work on math and numbers. The Iranian people are people. They have emotions, they have thoughts. You cannot control that unless you plant chips in their heads, which who knows? Maybe by the end of my lifetime, that'll be a thing.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.